Well, everybody's having a good Labor Day. So let's talk about the pros and cons of having a grill guard. This is another one of those accessories that uh, a lot of drivers like. I've had them. I've had two trucks, getting ready to buy a third. And my question is, do I even want a grill guard in my third truck? Well, I had, since I had two other trucks, and I always put a grill guard on the other two. I will tell you that not overly expensive, not as bad as an APU. Probably $2,000 to $3,000 for that X guard grill guard to put on your truck. Um, over the 10 years as an owner operator with a grill guard on the truck, did I ever use it? No. Is that lucky, or it's just the odds are you're just not going to hit anything. I think it depends on what part of the country you're running on. If you're in the center of the country, maybe even East Coast, as the population is higher, more traffic on the roads, there's less animal crossings. But if you spend a lot of time in the Rocky Mountains, you go across Wyoming or you're in Utah, there could be more animal crossings. Or even some places like Pennsylvania, you could have more deer crossings, for example. But for the most part, because of the volume of traffic on the roads, there's not that many animal crossings. And in the 10 years of driving with Grill Guard, I never hit anything. In 10 years, I never hit an animal with the Grill Guard. Now, I did have a deer hit my truck, but it hit me on the side of the truck. I mean, actually, it was in the median. When I saw it, it seemed like it was standing in the median. But by the time I was like level with the deer, it decided to run. And it was kind of like a bad call on its part because it ran right into the side of the truck, but it didn't run in front of the truck. That was probably the closest occurrence I had with a deer and the grill guard. But I've never hit a deer with the grill guard. So I'm thinking on my third truck I may go without the grill guard. Um, I think one of the reasons I got the grill guard in the first place was not because of the four-legged animals, it's because of the two-legged animals sitting behind the wheel. Many times you get where drivers play stupid games. They want to brake check your truck and all this stuff. Well, you have less to worry about if you have a grill guard. I mean, they could try to brake check you, but that grill guard would protect the front of your truck. Um, Now, let's see. I did have an instance where I was stuck in the mud, and of all things, I had a bulldozer pull me out of the mud. And took the blade of the bulldozer, put chain on the blade, and then put the chain on the tow hooks on the grill guard, and lifted the front of my truck out and pulled me out of the mud. And that was pretty cool. I didn't have to get out those screw-in hooks to put into the front of the Freightliner because I already had a grill guard on there, and it had tow hooks on the grill guard. So the bulldozer was able to put the chains on the grill guard itself, lift me right straight up with the blade of that bulldozer, and pulled my tractor right out of the mud. That was pretty cool. But I never hit an animal with it. Now, before I had the grill guard and my 2012 Freightliner Cascadia, I was running in Arizona near the Grand Canyon, and I was running, like it was like a state route. I don't know which one it was, but it was going north and south, and the mountain threw a shadow across the road. So I'm driving in the sun, going north. The road is clear. I get into that shadow area of the road, and there's, I think it was like one of these little miniature donkey things, and it walked right in front of my truck and cracked the radiator because I hit it going 65 miles an hour. It hit that LiDAR system, cracked the radiator, and I had to get towed. Um, back down to Flagstaff, and then took a week to get the truck repaired. It was under insurance. I had to pay $1,000 deductible, but I think the repairs were like $7,000. And the problem was I had just bought the truck, and I didn't have the grill guard on there yet. So ever since I put a grill guard on there, I never hit anything else again. I guess you take your chances. It really is. What are the odds you're going to hit something? It's not that expensive. Would it give you a peace of mind to have the grill guard on there? It might. It does make you relax a little bit, especially when you got cars, pulling in front of you, hitting their brakes and being stupid and all this stuff. As long as you got that grill guard on the front of your truck, it's like, those four-wheelers play all the games they want. They're not going to crack your radiator. That's just not going to happen. So they'll damage your car, but you'll have it on your dash cam. If they ever did something stupid in front of your truck and your grill guard's protecting the front of your truck and you got your dash cam, the video is going to protect you from getting a citation. Probably what you would do is you'd pull over with a four-wheeler idiot who's probably road raging, and your truck will be perfectly fine. Their car will be destroyed. State trooper will come out. You show him the video. It gives the other guy a ticket, and you're on your way. But if you don't have the grill guard, then you could have a cracked radiator. You could get towed, and you could be down for a week. So if I were to get one, it wouldn't necessarily be because of the animals, unless you consider the two-legged ones animals. Those animals. Protect yourself from the two-legged animals, more so than the four-legged animals. But the other thing with the grill guard, it adds a couple 100 pounds to the front of your truck. So you may have weight considerations when you go to scale load. You're at max weight. You pick up a 45 or 46,000 pound load, and now you got to think about that, how much weight that grill guard added to the front end of your truck. So there's pros and cons. Then the other things with having a grill guard is it takes up like an extra foot of space. You get into some of these tight truck parking spots, truck stops, like Pilot, or Flying J, for example, and you're trying to shoehorn your truck into a parking spot. That extra foot of space you don't have because you got the grill guard on there. Even sometimes customer locations, some small customers, they expect you to get your sleeper truck back into their dock, and then they're a smart ass and they say, we get trucks in here all the time. Yeah, they're day cabs. They're not sleepers. Then you put the grill guard on the front end of that, and now it makes it even harder. Now, you just lose all that extra space because you got the grill guard on there. So it is a consideration. Now, the other thing is that, we're trying to save money, especially rookie owner operators. You need to save your money. If you're going to reach this goal of $100,000 invested as a key to your success, you can't be out there spending your money. Just like we looked at the cost benefit analysis of an APU. Well, there's the cost benefit analysis of having a grill guard too. Because a grill guard, again, is going to be $2,000 to $3,000, and it's not necessary. That's money you could be putting in your investment portfolio. If you did the S&P 500 average return of 10% per year, let's say the grill guard was $2,500. Well, 10% of that is $250 every year that you own the truck that you didn't earn on compound interest because you put it into the grill guard. So let's say you had the truck for 3 years with the grill guard. Okay, so you've paid $2,000 for the grill guard, plus you had an opportunity cost of $250 a year from compound interest that you're not earning. So that's an extra $750. So that grill guard is now upwards of $3,000. That's what it costs your business. Now, is that significant in the big picture of things, or would you rather have the grill guard? You have to decide for yourself what's better. Because again, if I had it when I first bought that 2012 in the Grand Canyon, it would have protected me from that little burro donkey thing that crossed the path. Um, but I didn't have it, so you got to you got to play your odds. You could go either way. I don't think it's going to make or break you, but you can make a strong argument for it. You can make a strong argument against it. Since it's not overly expensive, I wouldn't be opposed to a guy having a grill guard, but the odds of you actually hitting something are pretty small. But it depends on what part of the country you're in too. So I kind of always liked it because it allowed me to relax when four-wheelers are being stupid. It's like, go ahead, be stupid. I don't care. You're not going to hurt my truck. You know, your plastic little car is going to have far more damage after it hits that metal grill guard than you're going to cause any truck. I mean, that X-Guard grill guard is pretty good. Like I said, a bulldozer picked me right out of the mud when I had that X-Guard grill guard on there. And it was made of reinforced steel. So that's pretty good. Now that was the XG. That wasn't the LT model. That was the XG, which is a thicker gauge. But it wasn't using the round part. There's special hooks, toe hooks on the grill guard itself. They wrap the chains around. Pick that right up. There's another time I was at Kellogg's facility in Omaha, Nebraska, in the wintertime, and I parked the truck, and there was gravel next to the cement, and I wanted to move over onto the gravel to give more space between me and the drive so other trucks could get around me. And soon as I got off that concrete, and this was winter, it's an ice covered pothole, and the right front tire dropped right into that pothole. And I had to call a tow truck. They came out, and the guy was going to take my grill guard off because he didn't want to damage the grill guard. I said, no, use the tow hooks. That's what they're there for. He's like, well, I don't want to damage it. And I'm like, you're not going to damage it. I said, I just had a bulldozer lift me out. Your tow truck's not going to damage it. So he put his cables, his chains around those tow hooks on that grill guard, picked the front end of my Freightliner right up out of that pothole, and put me right back on the concrete. So there are some advantages to having that grill guard. So it doesn't matter whether you have it or you don't have it. That's a personal preference. I never went with a full size grill guard. I went with like the half size. But if you want the extra cost and the extra weight, you can go with the full size grill guard, for example. It is tax deduction, so there's some cost savings there as well. If that gives you a peace of mind when you're in heavy traffic, it might be worth it. There's times when I drove in Utah, I was in northern Utah, and instead of going on the interstate, they had me go through some kind of weird state route. And I went up by some place called Bear Lake, Utah. It was remote, and there were deer everywhere. And it was reassuring that I had the grill guard on the truck, that even though I was driving at night and I see all these eyeballs looking at me, it's like, well, I got the grill guard. I'm not going to be overly worried, that I could get through there okay without hitting a deer. So I go back and forth on that all the time. I don't think it's going to make or break your business, but just keep in mind, especially as rookies, there's a lot of temptations out there to spend money. A lot of things you can spend money on, and you're going to have to try to resist those temptations as best you can. Try to save your money. It's hard because you probably never made as good as money as you're making right now. And you're looking for ways to spend it. You're thinking about APUs, you think about grill guards, you think about custom mattresses and leather seats, and all that stuff is nice, but that's all money you could be throwing in your portfolio. In the long run, it's your investments that's going to win or lose for you. Whether you're going to be determined successful or not is going to be the size of your portfolio. So the money you spend on these accessories is money that you could have put in your portfolio. So keep that in mind. You know, whether you have a grill guard or not, it's up to you. It's your personal preference. I wouldn't fault an owner operator for putting a grill guard on, or choosing not to. You know, like I said, you can make a strong argument for or against. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the internet.